See if Blacklist can force this to a game number 3, or whether Execration are going to be able to make this one work and get a 2-0 victory for themselves.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't know which way the Filipino fans would lean for this one, because there's no losing here for a Filipino fan. Again, you know, when we closed out that last game, if Blacklist loses, guess who they face up against? TNC. Yeah. So you get your content anyway, guys. So it's a win-win scenario, no matter who wins out on this series. You know, you've got something to be happy about, I suppose.
Look at this Beastmaster. Tino's got the Gomu Gomu no Mi going for himself on the Beastmaster here, Jonathan. I know you still don't get that joke, but...
I really don't. I do not understand. Oh, this thing, yeah. Yeah, the capes.
What is that? The capes. Well, what is it about capes?
Yeah,
it's no superheroes allowed.
I don't know. No, it's just been the capes have been bugging out in cosmetics. I do not know why.
Well,
there must be a technical reason.
Dragon Knight's got a cape. Why isn't his cape doing that, John?
Yeah. No, his back item's not a full cape. I think it's the way these back items work. It feels like a physics issue with one of the strands on the rig just going to an origin point behind the hero's model. I don't know. That's a very technical way of saying it's something like that, but I'm not sure. It doesn't matter.
It really does matter. Thank you, John. I appreciate you trying to take a crack at guessing what the problem is, but we couldn't care less. Thank you, sir. It's mid-racks. Excuse me, mid-lane, rather. We're not at the racks yet. Lewis is going to be up against... Shut up, John. Abed versus Lewis is here. The Pango versus DK. One of the most boring matchups in existence, and a matchup we've seen way too much in the last 2 to 3 years, Jonathan. Though, would you like to talk about it one more time?
That's such a fascinating matchup, Mike. You've got the double jump for Abed, and you've got the breed fire for Lewis. Lewis shouldn't be under too much pressure, but Abed shouldn't be fully shut out of the lane either. Maybe once level 2 breed fire is up, it could get fairly annoying, but this is a very stable farm lane for both sides. Shouldn't be as exciting. Rune control also not as important. Still somewhat important, the first power rune, but the water runes a little bit less so, maybe more so for Abed with bottle, but Lewis could probably care less. We'll see if that's something he even considers. So far, CS again going better for DK as you'd expect, but Abed should be able to take this creep wave with double range quite nicely once it's under his tower, so no pressure there. The other lanes are a little bit more exciting. Your top lane, you're already having Gabby having to pull away, down bot, you've got the axe spam and the damage that Shanks can pump out as well. On the Beastmaster Techies lane, Tino does go for the beast mode inner beast facet, so he can get some nice easy bonus damage on the axes flying out. It can stack up again. The old axe debuff can be a little bit painful for Zhao. Overall, this lane shouldn't be too bad for Natsumi, all things considered. The easier target will have to be that CM, and if they can land the sticky bomb into a blast off with a couple of axe stacks, they can eat off of Zhao, which is something that can start to go a little bit sideways for Blacklist. Zhao only has the 1 mango left as well, so not many spells to cast out. Big spike for Natsumi is that level 3. See how soon he can get it and if they can play off the back of it.
I mean, I might add, John, I wouldn't recommend eating off Xiao, but, you know, each to their own. Of course, top lane. We are going to have a Bart and CML up against Tims on the Tusk. And where is our off-laner? There he is. The Darkseer, of course, of Gap. This seems like a pretty easy lane for a bot. I don't really think there's too much in the way of shutting him down here. See, at the same time, chances are Gabby's going to have a fine time, as we are seeing Tims just pull the creep wave away. CML trying to be as annoying as humanly possible, but again, there's not too much you can do about it. Nice little shards block there from Tims. Does still get the creep wave. Very high level kind of play there from Tims. And again, I think you are going to have Gabby finding his... Oh, nice enchant! Gabby does get his surge cancelled off here. Going to try to run. The chase is on from a bot, and Gabby might actually just be dead. They have the Sakuchi in one. Tim's going to try and save the day with a snowball. Den still running. Does get him. Does get him in the end. As Tino will also drop across the map. They'll even lose a Crystal Maiden here for Blacklist.
Yeah. It's maybe a little bit better down bot, all things considered. Natsumi doesn't fall. He's finding a secondary onto Shanks. So all that solo EXP for Natsumi, now level 4. Well past this early spike at 3. Gonna be feeling great in that lane, but you are slowing down Gabby quite nicely. And again, giving a bot a lot of farm as well. Does feel like the early impact of the Weaver might be a little bit greater. Would say a fast javelin timing. That's what they're going here for a bot. Overall, Still fairly happy up top. They are doing the right things. They're making it awkward for Tims to just freely soak EXP. Gabby's going to need a lot of EXP as well to really play that lane. And that's going to be a good foundation for them to play off of. Considering Lewis's mid, again, is very straightforward against Abed. Not much outplay potential here for Abed. Lewis is going for the 2 points in the Worm's Rat. And is just holding that lane, not caring about the runes. They did commit quite a few wards here on mid as well for Blacklist, just to give Abed more control into the 6-minute mark. Not sure if that's going to be playing a big factor, but with a vision set up, you would want to see Blacklist get the space to play onto that mid. Not sure if you're going to be feeling too comfy, considering, again, how slow the top lane has been. And the fact that maybe Tims, I mean, he's level 3, so it is playable, but it could soak into 4, I suppose, by the time 6 minutes rolls around. And that could line up a little bit better.
It's just hard for Tims because there's nowhere for him to play. Like, if you go mid lane, you're not going to kill Lewis. If you go bottom, like, maybe you can set up, but Tino and Shanks are playing very, very, very carefully. In fact, they are going to rotate one over, and it's going to be the Pangolier coming down towards the bottom lane. So Abed, he's going to be around, but this is kind of the issue. Is Tino and Shanks are already very cautiously hanging by the large cap. They'll get a pull away with the creep wave, and Abed with his TP rotation, all he's going to get is a bounty room with the bottle refill. That's literally it.
Yeah. You're happy again with the space. You're soaking into 6 a little bit faster for Lewis. Can threaten the solo push. The Elder Dragon form and the Corrosive Dragon form. Once that level 6 is up, you're getting, again, fairly free lane for a bot up top. Everything's kind of lining up. I would say, for Blacklist, that Natsumi isn't farming too badly. Number 2 in terms of net worth. Has his power treads flying in. Already has 1 bracer up, so is very durable. Kind of eat through some of these axe spams that Tino is spamming out. I'm not sure when the play comes in either for the side of Exa. I believe, again, it's kind of on this DK6. If you can maybe rotate off of that, get tower pressure even, that can open up the game more. But in an even farming game, in this game state, it does feel good for Exa. If they can capitalize on this kind of start into the 15-minute mark, or again, just find some early tier 1s with Lewis, and can get a little bit challenging for Blacklist.
Abed's being chased down quite heavily here by Lewis. There's a lot of damage flying out from this Dragon Knight. Shanks is going to show up. He'll actually land the Sticky Bomb into the blast off, that the raindrops do save Abed from a lot of damage. The chase continues though, and Abed, he's going to be okay, but they are going to force him back towards the fountain. So it's not a very easy lane for Abed. Not only has he lost to the mid DK, which is pretty standard as the Pangolier, but he did also make that bottom rotation, which amounted to nothing. And now even the mid lane just being targeted by the side of Execration just makes it impossible for him to stick around. And John, they've got a siege creep and an Elder Dragon form going at the moment, so they just deal with this creep wave here in the mid lane. That T1 tower is going to lose half its HP.
Yeah, they're set up for it quite nicely in Exa. Again, just playing off this timing from Lewis, looking for the early objectives. Even a bot's getting some good damage off onto Gabby up top. Might be able to fully commit for that chase down as well if he so wishes. Gabby will just TP off from the back of the pause. Still free space for your Darkseer top. Your Tusk, Tims, again, doesn't have anywhere to rotate to. You're getting that nice steady shove on mid. You are starting to interrupt Tino's farm, but Zhao?
Zhao, he's going to find himself in danger. Tino in danger to boot, but Natsumi can't quite finish up the job. He'll leave the Phantasm Illusion to chase down the Beastmaster, but he's going to be okay to just outrun it. As Natsumi desperately needing a little bit of help, still trying to run away from Shanks, but he does have another Sticky Bomb. It won't land though. That's going to be enough for the Execration to decide better of it. They won't chase any further. I think just getting Tino away is going to be more than enough for them to be happy, as even CML barely able to walk away himself from this illusion. Still, I think it does feel like Execration are getting away with quite a lot already here in this game number 2. Though they do lose CML, as Abed does rotate and does find the kill.
We finally get some value from that ward, so Abed finds something for his trouble. That's something that the team does desperately need. It does feel like, considering how slow that lane has been, so even a small kill like the Enchantress does amount to quite a fair bit. 3-3, a much more even scoreline early on in this game for the side of Exa and Blacklist. And you are still lining up for this early timing for the side of Execration though. You've already got the early Javelin up on Abad. He's doing a lot more damage now when he can just duel down Gabby. Gabby at least has Soul Ring, has level 3 Iron Shell, so can just farm up quite fine, but can't really contest the Weaver fully. Mid-tier 1 still standing at more than half HP. So, push pace from Lewis, not as quick as you'd want it to be without the full commitment of some support bodies. I think the big thing for Blacklist is, again, they've got a little bit more forward vision, so they can try to invade. They know there are stacks being built up in the triangle. They can try to look for the pickoffs into clearance if they'd want. Execration has to be aware.
There's a pretty big group up here from Blacklist Rivalry, looking towards perhaps Tino. Tims is going to rush forward past the tier 1 tower and does reveal they were indeed looking for a kill, but here come the rotations. Rotate the Weaver over. Abart's going to be around to help out his team, and poor old Xiao is just going to cop so much damage because he does have the Javelin up on the Weaver. The damage output is pretty insane, and of course it will be a nice easy kill into Xiao. And ultimately this bottom tier 1 tower amounts to nothing but forcing the rotations down from Execration, but that's really all you got out of that.
Yeah. It's not much. Still, that does secure triangle stacks, so it's not going to be invaded anytime soon here by the side of Blacklist. We should just be able to get some quick flash farm up, maybe into that Dominator Overlord that Tino does love. And even if a bot leaves, again, he finds a pickoff, he just walks back top with a Shikuchi. Still free farming, still no pressure from the side of Blacklist. You're happy. This is still space for Natsumi. Armlet almost done on the CK. And you are going Echo on Abed, who will find CML another time. So again, very important small pickoffs to find for Blacklist. It's going to be the Ogre Axe for Abed, a little bit more stats up front into that Echo Saber. It just allows you to find some wins in the slower pace of game.
I mean, absolutely. You just got to take these small pickoffs where you can. CML certainly has been that small, easy pickoff that they can hope for every single time. So they are looking toward the tier 1 mid tower. They could try for Lewis, but Lewis has 21 charges. He's a Dragon Knight, so chances are he's just not going to die. And they will indeed just leave him alone and go for the power rune. And of course, Abed does pick up a nice regen rune for himself, so he'll head up towards the top lane. Perhaps see if they can set up onto the Weaver of Abart. Speaking of that Weaver, Abart is getting pretty close to the Maelstrom timing, but he may get caught. Tims will catch him with the shards. Abart does have time-lapse to play with, so he's pretty calm at the moment. And he will just Sukuchi away anyway, so they can't really lock him down. The Weaver's fine.
No. And they could group up for their own siege up top. And Gabby is shoving Green Wave quite nicely, has the siege creep, even Natsumi shows up. So we'll be able to find a tower trade at the least. And maybe look for stragglers, CML. Might be the sacrificial lamb, if ever.
Yeah, they may get him, maybe not even. Like, I mean, he might just scout out all these rotations. As Abart's still messing with them top lane, just going Sakuchiing right through Natsumi every 2 seconds. Tims has got the dust ready this time around, but it seems as though Natsumi is indeed going to have to back his way out. They still have a siege creep though, so that T1 tower is still going to go down top lane. Tims will go ahead and pick that one up for himself. I mean, both sides are more than happy with what's happening here. It doesn't seem like either one is under any form of pressure to try and find any kills against each other. Bart's going to find Gabby. Gabby will be okay to just surge his way out of there, so he's perfectly fine. And ultimately, it doesn't really feel like much is coming out of any of this. Just a T1 top tower to drop, that's about it.
I think, again, for the side of Blacklist, it's just free space for Natsumi. Going for the Orchid next on the CK. Selling some recovery out for Abed. Only one part away from full Echo Saber. Gabby, for his part, just working on sustain as well. Should have some of those ores come into play rather soon. I don't know. I feel like in this kind of game state, maybe it's a little bit too slow for Exe. It does feel like you want to get something out now that you have the blink up in Lewis. You want to be able to fully commit onto that tier 1 mid, although...
No, Gabby, they're going to end up finding a Bart. A Bart on that top lane is actually going to take Gabby down. And Gabby, he tried to sit up with the wall as he was being chased by a Bart already, but he just drops. And that mid T1 tower push from the side of Execration, it can start, or rather continue.
Yeah. He managed to snag away the Invis rune away from Abed as well, so no bottle refill. Still not fully committing onto the siege, showing a lot of respect and restraint for what Blacklist could potentially bring out there. This is allowing a lot of free space for Tino, which we know Execration loves to do in all of their iterations, as they will catch up Shanks.
They do catch out Shanks again, but the blast-off is going to be there, and Abed, he's still going to go for the Rolling Thunder, but seeing Tino with the Roar ready, won't even bother. No point. Just get roared within that Rolling Thunder, and you just probably end up dying, so they will back their way out. And going back to that point you just made about Tino, I mean, they certainly do like giving this man a lot of farm, but it really does usually pay off. You know, Tino does have very consistently good games.
And he does. He is rushing the Ags, because they will eventually find Shanks fully. So we do manage to get that kill for Abed. Again, that's the Echo Saber out, going for the Blink Ags. But yeah, going back to Tino, into the Ags buildup. And that is somewhat of a solution for the CK illusions, I suppose. Not the most common nowadays with all the nerfs that Drums of Slam has gotten. You know, it's not the good old funny days when Drums of Slam was new and you play into a PL, and that was Execration, if I recall right, that we were watching back then, Mikey. Where Tino would not die for like a solid 2 minutes there. Not quite the same anymore. I think that was against Polaris.
I think it was Polaris that they were up against back then, but it was something, that's for sure. So we are going to see CML being spotted out by Tims. Tims will be... He'll think better of it, obviously won't go for the attempt onto CML. And Drums of Slom has been something I've been seeing a lot in my games from these Beastmasters, so I gotta say, like, it seems like the way to go, especially if you can get yourself a bit of spell life still. Just the heal can get pretty ridiculous. Rather obnoxious to try and kill this Beastmaster off in the middle of a team fight, but even just the farming pace of this item, like how fast it lets you farm once you have it up, it's pretty ridiculous.
That it is. I'm not sure if that interacts with... I suppose it does interact with the Inner Beast active. I feel like it should, but the wording is very vague. So... It feels like it should, right? Like the Whirling Axis debuff applies on his attack target outside of just Whirling Axis? Perhaps?
I can't confirm. I'd be guessing. Tier 1 tower bottom to go down, but they are trading the mid-tier 1 tower here for Blacklist, so this is a very worthwhile trade. If you are Blacklist Rivalry, problem is they're not going to be able to get away with all of them. They'll get rid of half his HP. Execration, they will rotate a couple over, and that's going to be about it. Blacklist Rivalry, no interest in sticking around this area. But they do even out the map quite nicely. Like both top and bottom tier 1 towers are gone. Now you've got both mid towers sitting at around 1/3 HP. And so ultimately you are keeping on parity with the side of Execration, which I think is a good thing for Blacklist Rivalry, quite frankly, because it does feel like Execration have the more tempo-setting style of draft. As bottom, Natsumi is looking at a Bart. Gets the Orchid off. Abad had no idea this was coming. He'll go for a run. The snowball is incoming, but he gets a time lapse in time. Abad is fine for now. He'll continue to run. They'll chase him down with a rift out, but Abad is fine. In fact, he'll get a Gleipnir up. He'll turn around onto Natsumi, but oh, that was a mistake. That was too quick from Abad. It doesn't matter too much though, because he gets Natsumi down, and now the chase is on for Tims. And Tino, he'll have no problem with this, I don't think. Snowball will make it a little bit more challenging. Shard's block is there, but they'll get the root with the birds out, and Tims will drop. And this is another thing I might add, John, is even if your Weaver Pos 1 does die, I'm telling you right now, these offlane Beastmasters, they do transition to carry roles. With this Drums, it's so ridiculous how much damage they do. It really is.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. They get the space to clear out mid as well, so very good use of space out, trading the cores. Tino, his output's already just crazy standing up front. Did pop the Inner Beast as well. And again, it's such a good solution for the CK that I almost forgot. We rarely see the Drums of Slop come out up against these illusion heroes. Tino loves them, and it works out. 6-7, 1k lead coming out for Exa. You're not too far behind here in Blacklist, to be fair. You've got the blink up on Abed. He's got the roll ready. Going for the Harpoon. Gabby does at least have the full Guardian Greaves, so the Gleipnir won't hold him down fully. But it's been a slow game. I think this is the one thing. It almost feels like it's a bit of a mirror for both sides, right? We've seen games where Execration, when Tino has an awful start, it feels like they can't get anything done. Same thing kind of goes with Blacklist. It feels like Gabby needs to kind of get things going for his team. He's been trying to get space solo up top, but the progression, the Guardian Reaves are nice. We just need to see its impact soon in some wider fights.
They're at least going to try and even out the map again. They'll find the mid-tier 1 tower. So again, Blacklist Rivalry, they're still doing a pretty good job of staying on parity in this game. CML kind of just stood his ground there for a moment and will donate his life to the side of Blacklist Rivalry, trying to get some D wards off. That's all right. Big smoke up now from Blacklist. They want to go for a bit more. Problem is they run right into the mines. So there goes your smoke. I mean, maybe Tino sticks around. But of course, he is looking to retreat, and he does have his blink up if he needs it, and does use it. So he's fine.
Get the scan off in the right spot, but the tier 1's still there to protect. So Blacklist can't really get too much off the back of this one. It does feel like they need Tims to have his own blink. Like, relying fully just on Abed for some of these single target pickoffs with his blink in isn't maybe the most safe way of them coming in, especially the Beastmaster threat. Just waiting out for Tim's blink perhaps to start to get more angles in could be the way. I love what CML's doing though. On this Ench, he just walks up. He doesn't care. He's scouting, he's raking smokes, he's giving some key info. He knows it takes a lot to kill him. The only reason they killed him last time that quick was because they had freezing field. Now they don't even bother contesting the Ench. It's like, with his facet, the overprotective Wisp just does so much work.
It's pretty dumb. It's actually really dumb how much killing they provide. It's kind of the thing as well, right? Like, everyone agreed that the facets of, or even the innate ability of hold that thought, because they are going in onto the DK right now. The Dragonite actually melting to the damage output on Lewis, so Lewis is gone. Massive amounts of damage if you can find the DK by himself. Mind you, Lewis is very close to a BKB. So once that recipe is available for the BKB, you're not going to be able to do that again. But for now, Blacklist, they will find a very good kill.
That's a little bit disconnected from Lewis moving forward while Tino's already in the triangle. Does get punished, trying to get a little bit greedy, clearing out camps. They are setting up nicely around the bot jungle here on the side of Execration. Again, they've got this full Gleipnir up on a bot, so they could look to just burst him down once more. It does feel like Tino is necessary, though, for a lot of this early damage that they're looking for from Exe. Blacklist just playing on the top area. They've got good forward vision here. One in front of the tier 2, one by the ramp. In front of the top tier 2 as well. So they can feel safe just farming up. Both sides are dodging. Again, going back to what you said earlier, it is Execration that's a little bit more on a tempered draft. So all of the stall time does work out nicely for Blacklist. Still, Roche does begin. With Tino around and with a bot around, this should not take too long.
I say tempo, but the thing is, John, I get kind of worried for Blacklist with Tino. I'm telling you, these Beastmasters, man, if they get the right team fights. And he's got that Vampire Fangs now as well, so he's got an extra plus 10% spell lifesteal. So, you know, he's got more healing coming. We'll see how it goes. As Blacklist Rivalry, they've got a nice ward around this area. They can fight very well as a bot. Does think better of it, does Sakuchi back up, but Abed's going to jump right back in, trying to go after CMO, but he's been brought up immediately. They'll try to save him, but he's gone. Abed just gets completely blown up. This team fight is completely wrecked for Blacklist. They need to run. It's 3 down already. Gabby will try and get out. He is set to fall to boot, and he is down. They literally laugh at them. Gabby will get tipped here by a bot. Fair enough. And I think they must have thought it was only CML. Because they jumped in, trying to take him down, and it was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't think they managed to get a glimpse of a bot. He didn't Shikuchi into anyone. And just that much commitment, again, onto CML is too much. That's why I figured they were waiting for Tims to get a blink, so they could start with Tims first. Give Abed a secondary blink follow-through instead. Do get punished nicely. They hang on to the Aegis to take a tier 2. Nice and simple for Execration. 8-11, 6k lead up. BKB up on a bot. Now, you've got the BKB still ready to go on Lewis as well. Only Tino having to pop his.
Natsumi. Stuck around the tree line for some reason here. Natsumi in massive trouble. Will go for the Phantasm. They don't even need the Roar here. Natsumi trying to get out. Will not be able to make it as Abed does move in with a Rolling Thunder, but they've got the BKBs going, and now they've got the Roar out. Oh, Abed's down again. I mean, he's running. He's still getting out of there, but they've got the Gleipnir to lock him down, and he is gone. Oh, Natsumi, he was literally sitting in the tree line, and they just, with the smoke rotation, once the smoke broke, they knew he was there. There's nowhere else he could have been. It's not Blacklist. They're not on the same page here, John.
No, this is one of the issues that we see from Blacklist when games get a little bit shaky. it can look a little bit directionless almost, or uncoordinated. And Execration are playing as a unit so damn well. Mid-tier 3 just faults, interacts, they go. Mind you, for Natsumi, it's not an easy game without a BKB on the CK. He does have the Manta, but to know which timing, to know when you want to pop the Manta, right, with a Techies on hand, with a reactive Taser, with a Gleipnir, there's a lot to worry about for the CK. Going again.
Oh, here we go again. Another roar out. Who have they got? They've got Gabby this time around on the Darkseer, and Gabby is just down. No chance. They've even got Tims. Tims is gone. Natsumi, more importantly, is also gone. It might be time to call it here, boys, as this game is just getting worse and worse as time does go on here for the third of Blacklist rivalry. I mean, you talked about Gabby needing to have a good game for his team. I would agree with that sentiment, John. Gabby generally does have a hell of a lot of impact for his side. But on this Darkseer, he has had none of it as a part. We'll have a quick laugh here with his mate. They are friends, of course. This is not BM. But now the tier 3 bottom tower going down onto the rats. And, I mean, Blacklist rivalry, maybe have one more fight in them. They still have a tier 2 top tower, but this game is just so ugly for them at the moment.
They call it?
GG. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Whoa.
So
I don't...
yeah.
I don't think this is the result anyone expected, right? Coming in, Blacklist up against Execration, a 2-0 for Exe.
One person did.
One person didn't say it was. Nakai said didn't say it was. About saying I got one over you, boss. At the end there, finally managing to find that win over